Hey guys, Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my manga chapter review for chapter 131 of My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia. And the biggest theme I think that was pushed in this chapter is fate and having the will to fight against it. Because according to NightEye's prediction, according through All Might's telling, he All Might is destined to die within this year or the next, at least in the manga's timeline, and you can see how that really affected Izuku emotionally. Like he really wants Izuku, he really wants All Might to be around for at the time that he finally says, I am here, I am the new symbol of peace. And you can and All Might himself even thoroughly wants that himself, because he agrees that ever since he in the past, even before he met Izuku, he was content with actually just laying back and accepting Night Eye's whole prediction of his death. But ever since he met Izuku, he's actually been willing to completely fight against it, and try and prevent Night Eye's prediction from ever happening to begin with. Now, the thing about Night Eye's prediction in general, though, is that, according to All Might, his predictions are absolute, so it may not. And the thing about it is, I think the original prediction, my theory is that the original prediction, it was supposed to happen at the hands of All for One. And as we can see, that whole part of the destiny, it was already changed, but because thanks to Izuku being there and being the motivation that All Might needed, he didn't die at All for One's hands. He defeated him again, and he put him away. But with the only end result being the losing of his quirk. Now this of course leads to a popular theory about about timelines and whatnot. How even though you diverge from one timeline, it still might happen in another one. And in the case of this, even though they prevented one particular type of fate from happening, it still might happen. And I think if it were to happen, if All Might is still destined to die, it's probably going to be in the hands of Overlord and Overlord or Shigaraki, who, and we'll talk about those guys in a minute. But yeah, it's through that All Might has basically said, look, I once thought myself that I would just sit back and accept Night Eye's prediction of my future and my death. But he basically says how Izuku has changed him, how Izuku has changed All Might's perspective. And we can of course obviously see that it's both, that how both have basically affected the other and changed the other. So from here, so they basically made a vow from this point to basically just basically change fate. And but I but the thing about there's two ways that this can go, but both of course leading into a time skip. The first one is the obvious one where All Might dies. Where that one keeps going. But where All Might dies, and then it leads into a time skip with the younger heroes training to become stronger, so that they can all carry the mantle of the next generation of heroes in order to fight evil from that point on. Or it complete or in the terms of the message of this chapter of fighting against destiny, All Might could in fact very well live, and there of course still could be a time skip, but I think it would probably be All Might. It would be All Might training him, of course, training Izuku in order to get stronger. But yeah, it's just one of those interesting things where right now that there's two. There are two different paths, I think, that the story could actually go down. The path where All Might lives, or the path where All Might dies. And in either case, it's pretty much it's showcasing a divergence from Night Eye's original prediction, pretty much, I believe. Now talking about NightEye himself. Well, like I said in my previous chapter review, NightEye seems to be a man who takes extreme pride in what he in his power, and the fact that he almost seems he seems a little. I almost think he seems a little close-minded and self-centered, in a way where he believes that he believes his role, his path, his quirk is absolute. Everything he predicts, it should happen his way. He doesn't really believe in any sort of divergence from an original path. And I feel I feel that's with and I feel that's kind of where the core of his, I wouldn't say hatred, but maybe his just his bitterness at the fact that Izuku was chosen to inherit one for all kind of stems. Like he thoroughly believes that everything he's predicted is true, and nothing is ever going to change his idea, but his ideals and the way he thinks. But I think somewhere down the line he is probably gonna he not that Izuku knows the knowledge about what happened between All Might and Naida. I think he's probably going to use it in order to try and get in trying to improve himself completely to Night-Eye and say, look, I don't care what you think. I'm the newest. I'm the new. I'm the one All Might trusted with his quirk. I'm going to show you what it. You may want me to show you why I don't. You may want to know why I don't deserve it, but I'm going to show you why I deserve one for all, and why I'm going to be the next symbol of peace. So yeah, I can imagine it's gonna be. I imagine it's gonna be that kind of scenario, and yeah, like it's just one of those things where he really seemed where Night Eye just really seems stuck in his own ways and his own beliefs without even really having any open mindedness or any way of looking at any other way of looking at things. But yeah. Also, aside from that, we also we of course get we of course see what Ochiko and Suyu are doing at their little practicum or practical experience, and it's shown actually in a time skip, I suppose, in the time that they've been there, just how strong they've become, because the two of them, with of course teamwork, were able to take down a giant villain, and that to me just showcases the I guess the potential that each one of them has. Well, like I said before, I think this is gonna, if this is how they are now, then imagine a time skip where we actually see where we see them completely in mastery of their quirks. Like that's actually a dangerous thought, but yeah, it really showcases their potential as heroes, and I really like how they're working with with that woman, that lady from the big three from the big three graduates or whatever. And her quirk is actually really interesting because it's electricity powers. And to be honest with you, I've always liked the quirks with a quirk that has electricity to do with it. I think, and that's why I kind of like I like electricity, and she seems to have an electricity quirk, and I really like that kind of power, because for me personally, I have two personal favorite powers: the powers that deal with earth and the powers that deal with electricity. Like or just generally those that harness the natural element, the power of the natural elements. And I just really love her quirk. But it that little scene, I think, did well to showcase just the potential that the heroes of this generation have, and how strong they can become. Also, but in the end of the chapter, we see we see Overload and Shig Araki meeting with each other. Now, on in that with that scene, I think it's pretty obvious that Shig that at this point, I think Shigaraki has wised up, and he's going to team up with Overload, at least for now. I think it's going. The way I predict it is that it's going to be a scenario where he only teams up with Overload temporarily, and then when he knows that the time is right, he's probably going to betray Overload, and take and pretty much take over his entire organization. Like we of course have to remember that at the core of it all, whether he doesn't really have a whether he had a direction or not to go in. Shigaraki's main goal at the core of it is to become the main hero, the big baddie who represents all the villains, and he wants to become all powerful. And I think he realizes that while Overload has provided him with an opportunity to team up with him and whatnot, it's also an opportunity for Shigaraki himself in order to take over everything that Overload has, and give him the actual resources and power. And I think he's going to use it, but when the time's right, he's going to take over Overload's entire operation and use it himself. So yeah, that's the way I see that whole thing going down. But yeah, this was a but yeah, guys, that's it. This was a very good chapter. I think the main thing it showcased is how how Izuku and All Might have chosen to actually try and tempt fate, and just try their damnedest to work against it, even though it's kind of even though it is kind of up in the air as to how which path it's going to take. But it'll be interesting to see as to where it goes from here, and just the overall potential of where things are in the world, including the potential of the next generation of heroes, and the villains too. Like yeah, it was just a great chapter. But if I had to rate this chapter, I'd say, I mean, it didn't. I mean, I will admit it didn't. I guess provide a whole lot of. I mean, I will admit. I guess one thing that it didn't do very well is it didn't provide a whole lot of progression. But it's just kind of nice to have these little exposition type chapters, because it just gives a lot more breadth of air to it all. But breath of air to the whole series. But yeah, guys, that's my review. I'll see you guys with the next one. Death Knight of Anime signing off. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Later, guys.